Hello.
Hey, hey.
Hey. And everyone that's watching, we welcome you. What is this, our third or fourth
This is
episode?
four. This is episode. It's our third
Four.
episode, but my for
Yeah,
my channel, this is
yes,
episode four, which we are going to create our own channel.
we are. And I'm so excited with that. Today is August the 25th, which is actually our dad's birthday. And we wanted to take some time remembering dad. It's been 18 years since he's passed away. So tonight is going to be a conversation about love and loss, legacy, faith. I know life is life and it gets busy and it's so hard, thinking today that it's been 18 years. It's hard to realize that he's been gone for that long. So today, my sister Connie and I, we're going to sit down together, just remembering our dad, sharing some of the things we loved about him, talk about losing him and what it taught us, and hopefully encourage someone today to know that grief is a way of healing. It's a way of showing your love to people who's passed on. And one of the things, and Connie will probably roll her eyes, but no, I'm just joking. One of the things I love is I do find comfort in my faith. So Psalms 34:18, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. So grief over time, it's healing. That love doesn't disappear. If anything, for me, it really has grown so much. Dad taught me a lot, taught us a lot, I think, just in general. So anyway, we want to share that with you. We want to share our dad with you on his birthday. On our birthdays, he would always call us and sing happy birthday to us
Yep.
every year.
Yeah, every year.
So every single year. And I will say, I'm 56. It's been 18 years without those calls. And I need to get better at doing this for my own kids too. Life just gets so lifey.
I don't know if my kids would necessarily love it. I just say, hey, happy
I think my
birthday.
grandkids will absolutely, I do it with them.
And you know what? And you hit something pretty relevant through all of this is grief has no expiration date, and there is no right or wrong way
Right.
to grieve. Like I know
Mm-mm.
when dad passed away, it took me a long time to even hit that grieving period, and it hit me actually when Brett and I were married and living in a new home. That's when I just felt it, and that was a long time because we've been in the
Yeah,
house for 8 years, so it took that long for me to finally release that, and there is no expiration date for that.
it isn't. And anyone out there, just so you know, there isn't that expiration date. I mean, there's going to be times when, like, I really, truly, and I'm sure you feel the same way, wish he was here to see our kids being parents and being amazing parents.
Yeah, I do.
Um,
Colby has been really asking a lot of questions about dad and our side of the family. Like he's really, especially grandpa, he's been asking a lot because when you said 18 years, Colby just turned 28, so he was 10. Like he doesn't really
yeah,
have a lot of memory with him. I've been trying to get him and myself really because there was a stretch of time that dad and I were estranged. And while I was up here, because, I moved out of their house and I got rejected, not any fault of his,
hmm,
kind of. I mean, it's 50-50, but you know what I'm saying.
right, right.
And I lost that time with him as well. We were working to get it back whenever he passed away.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
Um,
Sherry's
yeah,
leading this one tonight.
it's okay, and that's okay, right? Because it's real talk, it's a real conversation, and that's what I love about what we're doing here. One of the questions I have for you, and I'll answer too if you want me to, but when you think about dad today, what is the first memory that comes to your mind?
Oh,
And I know
Lord.
you were young. No.
I'm going to say black jelly beans. And I don't know if you remember, now
You were gonna say that.
you know how we always look at our childhood based off of what house we lived in to
Right,
determine.
right.
I remember we lived in the red house. I
Where it
remember
was.
when, wasn't the red house the one with the doors that had like it was like accordion doors type things on it?
Oh,
I feel like it was,
yeah, I
but
think it
I remember
was. I think it
dad was,
was.
dad was so proud because now remember our mom never took him for child support or anything like that. So when he had us,
Nothing.
he didn't always work. So he just did the best that he could with what he had. And I remember he was so proud because
Right.
he gotten me these. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. He had gotten me these, you probably don't even remember, Fruit of the Loom sneakers that had the plastic soles, whatever, because remember we walked to school. And you hear
Oh
this
yeah,
click,
yeah, yeah.
click, 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 and I would slip because they were plastic. And then you got the funky docksiders. Remember when docksiders? I remember like that memory. That's a core memory that sticks with me. And I was so
So
upset
I
because
got
I
real
got these stupid
Docksiders.
shoes. But now I'm thinking, you know what? He did the best that he could with what he had.
Well, I don't know if it was the same time frame because I did get Docksiders, and I remember my Christmas list putting on there real Docksiders,
You probably got it from mom
the real thing. I don't know.
because I didn't
And
put
I
Fruit of the Loom
remember that
shoes on there.
I know you didn't, but I think it was the same time when you got those Fruit of the Loom shoes is when I remember when Zip the Big Z tennis shoes was like a thing. Like you would make a Z in the ground. I'm gonna have to find a commercial because it was called Zip the Big Z, and they would make a whoosh, not Nikes, but a Z, and they were, I wanted purple on purple. And I remember that, and I got fake ones.
I don't remember them at all. I remember there's
I
braided
got
leather
some.
sandals that you always had. I forget what they had a name too. I remember we used to get fake Jordashes. That's for Bob, Mom, I think. All I wanted was the one with the horse on the butt. You know, with the horse.
I know. I know. You're right. Like looking back right now, he was doing the best he could. And he always tried to be fair because when we got those black jelly beans for Easter, it's because his girlfriend couldn't afford an Easter basket for her own kids. So that's what he gave us because that's what he liked. And he had to charge us for candy.
Right.
Remember?
Well, yeah. And then I start thinking, and then of course, when you're younger, you don't recognize all those sacrifices and those things
Yeah.
that don't look like sacrifices. But I remember like when I was first divorced, I struggled, right? Because I didn't do child support. I signed over the house. Like I didn't, only thing that I wanted were
Right.
my kids, 50 of my kids. And the
Mhm.
boys were very active in sports. And I remember not being able to afford even a $5 ticket into their sporting event. I made it work, or but Corey wanted to go to McDonald's, and our thing was we a snack wrap. Like snack wraps were our thing. And I
Yeah.
remember saying, you know what, I'm not hungry, but I'll get you one because I couldn't even afford that for myself.
Hmm.
But I wasn't going to let anyone see.
Right.
I wasn't going to let my kids see that. And a lot of times, and I'll be embarrassed probably if they see this, but I don't even know if they watch it. I wouldn't buy myself anything to eat ever when I would go somewhere, but I would always buy for them. And then I knew they wouldn't eat it all. So then I
Yeah.
that. So you just
Right.
don't
Right.
realize that. You don't recognize that whenever you're younger and you're in that moment. You just think your parents are being selfish. They're this, they're that. But really, they might just be struggling.
Yeah, because I remember when we were with dad, and I remember going to McDonald's, and I think we were going from Jeff's when we were younger. I mean, so Jamie and Sarah and JC were all with us, but we were in a van. A
Yes.
van. Anyway, and we stopped at McDonald's
Yes.
and we had to share fries. We had to share, the different things, soda, and I didn't want to share soda because they were so much younger than we were. They were backwashing.
Yeah.
So, but then, to think, man, when I went through my first divorce, my second, well, not my second, but my first divorce, same thing. The same things I had to be careful with, the same things I had to, I was so grateful because Bobby and Diane, who babysat my kids during the week, they would invite us to go camping and things like that because I couldn't afford to do
Yeah.
those things. I
Yeah.
couldn't afford it at all.
Right. And
And so then I look back and the dad, same thing.
yeah, and if you think about it truly, children should never be immersed in adult situations or in
Right.
adult issues or challenges or anything like that. Like they should not be like if you have a problem with that spouse or with that ex-spouse or whatever, the children should
Right.
never have to experience that ever. Like I don't even care how
Yeah.
old they are. Later, even like I feel like that's something that children should never have to work through is those adult situations that they never wanted to be a part of.
Right. And I will hand it to dad because I don't feel like he ever did that. Like I don't feel like he ever talked bad about mom or any of those things like at all.
No.
At all. Not that we saw him a lot. lot, you know?
True.
What about other questions? If you had to describe him to someone who never had the chance to meet him, how would you describe it?
So I do that often. I actually, in full transparency, full honesty, but I always say, because I say this to Brent all the time, I wish Brent was born back then. But I always say, and I tell my kids this, he had the biggest heart. He loved,
Oh yeah.
he just loved, right? And however, he probably wasn't the best husband or the best father, especially to us growing up or to my mom.
Us.
He
Yeah.
always did our mom. He always did the best that he could. I see that now. Like I feel like he just truly did the best that he could given the situation that he had, that he was in. And, you know, like we have talked about before, addiction really takes over everything.
Everything.
And I really blame that. I don't blame him as much, even though I know that you can make those choices to partake or not to partake. But I understand that that one time, probably all it takes. I
Yeah.
just think that I always tell everyone, he was such a loving, had such a big heart. There were times that I called dad, times I called mom, because totally different hearts and minds. And if I wanted something a little softer, it was dad. If I needed
Right. Yeah.
ass, it was
We
mom.
could. Yeah. If you wanted to be told that you're doing it wrong, then we call mom.
Yeah, yeah. So that's how I always describe him is he was just a big heart loving
Teddy bear.
that just made bad choices.
Yeah, exactly. And that pretty much sums up how I describe him too, you know. I mean, he has such that big heart, you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah.
So what is something about dad that always made you laugh? I want to see if we agree.
Well, so do you remember something about him? Like he's such a free-spirited person. I mean, there was a part in his
Yeah.
life he wasn't, but he was also such a I remember like whenever we were going down to North Carolina with him, he would take these stops at
Oh
gas
yeah.
stations, and just his snoring, like that would make me laugh because he would snore so big in the cars.
And I'm just resting my eyes.
Yeah, I'm just resting my eyes. And the way he laughed, his whole belly shook.
Oh yeah.
Like he just had that belly laugh. But that I like it's hard because I didn't grow up with him a lot. Like I didn't grow up with mom. You would think I was in foster care, but I wasn't.
I say that all the time. Well, let's see, was my sister
Yeah.
or was it this time? You know, it does feel like that at times. Like, I mean, there were times I get mad at mom and be like, man, she can't be my real mother. You know?
What do you think about what our kids
Um,
are saying?
exactly. I'm sure they said the same thing. Like, were they abducted by aliens? According to today, it could be true, according to the news. Um, for me with dad, the thing that always made me laugh was like, don't forget, we're part Indian and Sherry is white as a ghost. And I did I did that ancestry.com mess, and we're clearly not. I mean, we got some Portuguese, so maybe that's where that dark skin comes from with you and our kids. But always say that. And I remember saying, Dad, I think that blood dropped out when you shaved and cut yourself the other day. That's all there is. But that was like his thing. He was sick. Remember when he was like, I want to be buried Indian style? That's not legal.
It doesn't just happen because that's what you want, and you think that that's what you are. And you got Indian.
Yeah,
They
because
used to
we
call
did.
him.
We visited that reservation.
They used to call him.
What?
They used to call him Indian.
Yeah.
And he had that
Yeah.
Indian
Well,
tattoo.
he did. Kim has one on his chest. But it's so funny because when I look back now, I'm like, okay, did they really start calling him Indian because he wrote an Indian? Saying it,
Or maybe because he does
know?
look like one because of his skin.
Oh yeah. I remember being teased in school because he could.
I know. But his legs weren't dark.
You're right. Oh my gosh, that's so fun. One thing I think that losing both of our parents, I know it's taught me, is appreciating people while they're here, you
Mhm.
know, not focusing like, oh, I got tomorrow, because we just don't.
Mm-mm.
It's not promised for us. If losing dad taught you anything about life, what did it teach you about appreciating the people you love now?
So when dad passed away, my whole world flipped upside down. And not just because of the passing of my dad. Like it just made me open my eyes to so much because life truly is short. He was 61 when he passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and right after, because today's his birthday. He died yesterday, 18 years ago, so his 61st birthday.
Wow. That's
So I always say that that's my expiration date. I don't like because mom died at 74 or whatever. He was 61. I'm 53. I don't think I think I'm expiring sooner rather.
inspiring.
But he really taught me the type of person that I want to be. He like I want people to remember me because I was not always a good person. Like I got in fights. I picked fights. And when I say that Corey's like, you've never been in a fight in your life. I'm like, you didn't know me back then, but I'm not proud of that. Like I'm not proud of that part of my life. So if anything, like he just really taught me to just appreciate people in general, to have also, it's okay to have boundaries, but you don't have to be a jackass to people just to get your point across. You don't have to be mean. You don't have to mean girl anybody. And communication, like I just feel like communication is always lost. It's like a lost art now. And I feel like communication can really not mend things, but clear things up to where a relationship can survive it. You know what I mean? Like just so much, like there's just so much life to live. And you need to wake up every single day and telling yourself in that mirror, it's going to be a great day because you get to choose that. You get to choose what kind of day that you're going to have. Just really taking back control of my life and not letting other people lead it.
And it's so true. And it did a lot of that taught me too. And more so in mom, which we'll talk about another time, but because, in scripture, sorry, I keep going back to that, but that's just who I am now. And dad taught me that. Dad, when I lived with him in North Carolina, he was a deacon, he was a man of God, And in James 4:14, it says, you do not know what tomorrow will bring. We're not promised it. For you are a mist that appears for a little time, then it vanishes.
Mhm.
And that scripture is so true, like, I got to spend time with Aunt Mary the other day, and yeah, we're not promised tomorrow, whether it's me or her. And we always live on tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that with dad passing, our first parent passing, it just made me really realize that tomorrow's not promised. We've got to forgive today. We've got to let go today. We've got to call today. We've got to say I love you, and we do. I mean, we tell each other we love each other.
Yeah.
Some
Like
days we might not feel that, but we do say it because it's
even in
important.
right, even in my family, I taught my kids we've grown up with that. So every time we get off the phone, it's I love you. Whenever they leave, it's always a hug and a kiss. Like it's something, and I don't think anyone
Right. Same.
should be embarrassed by that. I feel like that might be your
Never.
last chance to say and do those things.
Right.
Why not leave them with that memory instead of being like, you're a BITC? And you know what I mean? Like, instead of being hateful,
Yeah.
leave them with that memory. You don't know. And I'm going to bring this up. It's not, well, Tracy, Brent's cousin Tracy, her aunt
Mhm.
just passed away in a car accident a couple of days ago. So that's
Oh, sorry.
a point made, like you have no idea like when you walk out that door or if even if you're going to get up the next day. So it's just like
Yeah.
really, how do you want people to view you when you go? And that's what I keep thinking in my mind. I'm
Right.
like, I want people to say kind things about me. There was a point where there would not be very many kind things to say about me, right? Because I just was not, I mean, I was hurting, I was struggling, I was going through so much that I didn't realize it. So going through the healing journey with mom and dad in our childhood that it did, I think played a big part in why I hated the
Yeah.
world so much back in those days, back in my younger years. Like I really did. Like I just And with dad passing, you just realize so much more, and then you learn to appreciate a lot more.
Mhm.
Sorry, I just got off.
Yeah. I can't, I agree 100%. I mean, I know when dad passed away, I don't know, honestly, I can't even say today I've truly mourned him. Only because I don't know, it's so weird. It's like I'm sure there were stages of mourning and grief,
Oh yeah.
but being able to learn, number one, those boundaries, not, and I'm gonna bring up a sore subject. I know, not for us, but if somebody watches, but just the fact that I was in charge of an estate that we weren't part of,
Oh,
right?
right.
And being angry because, are you kidding me? You couldn't divorce her, and then we had to handle all of this mess, and then our siblings getting upset with us, and because we were older. I mean, I'm 56 and JC's what, 35? you know I mean, we're generations apart.
Yeah.
I was a junior in high school when Jamie was born. Sarah was 3.
I just
And
remember coming
and I love them.
in North Carolina and seeing this baby sitting on the couch. I'm like, who's that?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. I mean, I had to miss school because, Sylvia went in labor and I had to watch Sarah. It's just those things that I felt like in a lot of cases I had to grow up so quickly. But then when dad passed away, there were things that we had to take on. We weren't ready for that. So we didn't really get a good ability to grieve. You know what I mean?
no, because
And I know for me, there was a ton of resentments,
I was just gonna say there was
tons.
anger and resentment and a lot of things that fell on our shoulder that dad left us with nothing. So if anybody's watching, you better get your affairs in order because dad left us with nothing.
That's right. Because
You do pick
no,
someone out whenever something out to put them in whenever they're cremated. So it's not like you just throw
right.
their body. So there's a lot of
Yeah,
things that, yeah, that and then learn and I feel like once you hit that resentment, it's so hard to pull back from that. Once you start resenting
it
somebody,
is.
that's almost like relationship suicide.
Yeah, yeah. It's the truth. And and during that time when dad had this estate, and because he got hurt at the shipyard and got asbestosis and all this mess, and he every time a company would come out of bankruptcy, then the check was sent. But then during that time, because he didn't put anything in order, he thought he had nothing, but he had a car. And then I had to argue with our brother, over the car. Like, what is happening? Of course, in his defense, he was
I would
18, he was a
say,
young kid. We were grown, we had families. So in his defense, that's all he knew. And he knew that promised him that car, so I understand it. But then I was very bitter and very angry about it.
right, because it was almost like being selfish. Like, what are we supposed to do? Like, how are we going to pay for all this?
Right.
Because we do have a family and
Yeah.
responsibilities that we can't just pay.
Right. And we did. We paid for it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
I mean, thank God my friend David, he paid for it so we could get his ashes for the memorial service.
yeah. Because
But we paid him back.
we didn't realize that they charge $75 a day every day that they're in that morgue.
Yeah, it's like a repossession or your car getting impounded. Like, what?
Yeah.
It's crazy,
Oh my gosh.
you know? And grief does funny things. So I don't care how close anybody is, make sure, like Connie was saying, get those affairs in order, because grief will rip a family apart. I don't care how close you are, it's always somebody's going to get something better or things like that. And, you
Grief
know,
and resentment.
yeah, yeah. And it's crazy because, and then all those feelings start flooding up. So also, if when you're going through these things, this is something I did not do. I didn't do, I think, until mom passed away, but get help, go get a grief counseling, do something,
You know,
because your state of mind is so important. And, you know, it's crazy. It's so crazy of all the things. And, for, I can honestly say the things that get dug up as well, from our childhood, really, were they real?
Or
Like, were they? Because
yeah,
how are we remembering them?
right.
Because I'm going to be clear, and we'll state that here on the record for everybody here. I don't remember setting the beach on fire. Just saying.
Yes, you
Everybody
do.
else remembers it differently.
You do. You do remember that because you and Danny were the ringleader.
Well, let it be told, I was
And
told I was a ringleader. But anyway,
I used my denim jacket with the wool liner to try to put it out. And Mom
I
said,
do remember that part of it.
where did this burn marks come
I've
from?
just been smoking.
That's a
I've just
whole
been
story for
smoking.
another time.
That is a whole story in itself. And we might have to get Kelly or somebody to join us. Um, so as we're on this about dad, 18 years later, um, how is grief different now than it was in the beginning? Like, is it still hard, or is it easier? Because now it's easier to remember those good times and not all those resentments.
You know what? I might sound awful saying this. I don't think I have it anymore. Like I feel
It's
like I don't have the grief anymore because I let it out. Brent saw me
mm-hmm,
at my worst possible time when it happened because I didn't even know what was happening to me. Like I just remember like
right.
breaking down and then all these things with dad was coming to my mind and like everything was just building up on me. And then it hit me like I think that was finally my time that I felt comfortable to grieve. So
Mm-hmm,
I don't really think I grieve anymore. If anything, I just think about the happy times like when Colby asks me questions, I don't get sad like I used to. Like
right.
I get happy talking about him. So it has
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
changed because I feel like I embraced it finally. I was finally able to let go, and now I can receive all of the blessings and the goodness and things like that came with it.
Right. Yeah. When we were in Ocean City this weekend, I spent a lot of time like reminiscing with Cameron of when we used to go to Ocean City, like telling him how we went to the carousel, all those things.
With the
And
skate,
then
remember all we
then
wanted
we just
was ice skate at the carousel.
that's exactly what I told him too. We just wanted ice skating. He's like, Mom, you knew how to ice skate. I don't
No,
remember if we actually went ice skating, but
no, we knew how to roller skate.
we did know how to roller skate. And I showed him those things too, like from our childhood. And then we just started talking about dad and reminiscing, and he was like, he was telling me that he was in high school when dad passed away. I said, I don't think so. And I think he was middle school,
I think I have more memories than
maybe,
you do.
huh?
I think their timeline is better than our timeline because I could never remember how many years ago it's been. But I think,
Yeah, same. I had to do the math.
yeah, Colby was just saying about that. I think Colby and Corey were just saying about their ages, and I was like, I feel like Corey wasn't in school. He was starting school, and that was the whole, yeah.
Yeah, because Blake, I have a picture which I'll share with Colby and all. Because they're on my Facebook. He can see those pictures when he was little, with Aunt Brenda and Jared and all,
Yeah.
and at the memorial service at the house. And um, I remember we were talking about it, and I was like, "Let me look this up." So I found the album, and I was like, "Maybe you were," because he looked older. He had a haircut from ROTC, but Blake was little, and I have a picture of Blake, and he's like talking about dad. Like so serious. And it's, just talking about it, it's a good thing to see and to hear, because I mean, dad was a good person. He was just broken,
He
you
was
know.
broken. He just made bad choices, and
Yeah.
yeah,
And I'm proud we can say that now,
yeah.
you know.
I mean, I
Um,
do wish
oh,
that we would have ended things, which we did, but we'll probably get into that. Go ahead, because I only have a 40-minute Zoom.
oh yeah. Part two. Part two. Um, so also, during that time, because there's not a doubt in my mind that I'm going to see dad again, because I know he's in heaven. I know that's where mom is. not one doubt in my mind at all. And I think that helps me
Yeah.
know that too, because I don't question it. Did losing dad, and if this is too personal, you don't have to answer. Did losing dad ever make you question God or struggle with faith?
No.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. No, I've
Um,
never, ever, ever, ever had any doubts of that.
yeah, yeah, that's for a whole nother episode later. But
No, I think
because
our path is a little different, which is fine. I'm not as vocal about
yeah,
it, but
right.
I still worship and I still pray and I still do all those things
Amen.
my way. You know what I mean?
Well, that's why it's a personal relationship with Jesus, because it's
Exactly.
our relationship. It's not yours, it's not mine. Mine's mine, yours is yours. And
Right.
there's no right or wrong way
Right.
to do that, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and the most beautiful thing too is, through all this and all these years, the Lord has really healed in me that brokenness, because that's what he does. And just being a Christian doesn't mean you're never going to hurt, you're never going to feel, you're never going to cry, none of those things. Because even Jesus, the shortest scripture out there, John 11:35, says Jesus wept. And so it's okay for us to grieve and for us to
Well,
do
I
those things.
wholeheartedly
So I'm
believe
glad to hear.
that I had to go through like after my divorce and stuff, and I went down a
Mhm.
year, that whole year. I lost people, and I really do feel that I was put on that path to be by myself and to go through those things the way that had to go through it to be who I am today. Like I fully, wholeheartedly feel I had to navigate all that by myself, have my relationship with God, have all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Because if I was still surrounded by people and by that atmosphere and the environment, I definitely would not be the woman I am now. So I feel like
Right.
I had to go through it. And there's a reason why I went through certain things.
Heck yeah. I mean, God has a plan for all of us, every single one of us. And then through it, we have testimonies. So, and I'm a firm believer in that, you know. So now we'll kind of focus. How much time do we got left?
I don't even know, but I don't want to touch it.
Okay.
It'll start beeping at me.
Okay.
If we have to cut
Um,
it off, we'll just peace out.
yeah, that's fine. Um,
And it's going to take
well,
days
so
to upload like it's happening right now with the last week.
um, Dad's legacy. So what part of Dad do you see in yourself?
That's a hard one. If I'm being honest, I'm going to say my heart.
Mhm. Your sense of humor.
I don't even think I have that
I mean,
anymore. I
both of
think
us, I
that
think.
left away. I think that went away.
I don't know.
I think
I think
that.
we both have that kind of sense of humor.
Oh,
Do you ever see, do you ever catch yourself saying or doing something and think, man, that was my dad?
I wish, but no.
Yeah. I think for me, I do, in a sense that when with my health issues happening right now, like, okay, I'm not digging too much into this because I will start being like my dad and being a hypochondriac, and I am not
I
doing
mean, he did teach me
it. Not doing it.
I don't want a donut on my cheeseburger. I don't want like he did teach me. He did teach me I don't want to do drugs. My biggest thing is probably wine. He taught me like a lot of I never wanted a divorce. It did happen,
Right.
but because of them, I
Yeah.
never wanted a divorce. I never wanted my children to go through that, and I failed them. But at the same time, I think if they would look back and they look at me now, I think they would agree that I'm a better person now.
Yeah, I think that through that it's created this strong woman that you are, that not just your sons see, but like your grandchildren are going to see. That's the legacy you're going to be able to have.
I don't know.
Um I do believe that's to be true. What do you think Dad would be proud of when he looked at his family today with us and our children, our grandchildren?
Okay, the note, the infamous letter that was sent did not happen.
Oh
What
gosh.
was written in it did not
Yep.
occur. In fact, it bit the other person in the ass. So I think
Yep.
he's proud of that we're not complete poops, right? Like, um,
Yeah.
I think that just our success and I I really he would love Brent and I wish that Brent would have had an opportunity
Yeah.
to know him. He would be proud of his grandchildren, all of them. Um, there's just so much. I feel like it's harder to talk about yourself and your successes and positive things than it is about the negative. But I think just all in all, where we
Yeah.
are in life, where I am in life, like I could have sank how many years ago,
Oh yeah.
but
Yep.
I pulled myself out of it. Like depression, dad has depression, I have major depression and anxiety and
Yeah.
all of that I work through on a daily basis. Um, and I know what puts me in those situations. That's why I have to have boundaries and I have to. So he taught me all that because he had all of that. Like,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Yeah. And it runs on both sides of our family. So we have to learn to cope.
yep.
Um, so if we were able to sit down with Dad today and sit with him and talk with him, what would be the first thing you would tell him? I
Ah,
can't hear what you think.
I said I was gonna cry. I'm crying right now.
Oh,
You go first. What was the first thing that you?
I think I would thank him. I would thank him, even though he had asked Sylvia if I could go live with him when I was 14. I would thank him for doing that and taking me. And I remember when I got off the plane, he said, "Oh my gosh, you're like a little missionary." Well, here I am today, going on a mission trip. You know, I would want to just tell him how I had to go through so much stuff, same things that he went through in life. And through it all, he told me to trust God and come out on the other end a better person and to still laugh, still know that there's love out there for me somewhere. Um, yeah, I mean, not to take life so serious either. You know, it's not that serious. Just live it and love it. But most importantly, like just the faith he had, just the faith through all of it. I mean, he lost it sometimes, and so did I, you know, but he found it again. That's,
I,
yeah,
for me, so I was always in and out, in and out, in and out of mom, dad, mom, dad. Like I was always in that because I was a bad kid. Um, and I like when I moved up to Pennsylvania, that was hard because that was moving into an already made family. And then I was the outsider. And then we had that falling out. And I think for me, well,
yeah,
I would thank him because I feel like if that wouldn't have happened, this is where, like, first of all, I would have never met Jan. I mean, I did, I met him in school, but I would not have had
right.
the family with them that I had. So I
Mhm.
thank him for that because I have that and I have like um, I had their love and their support. And without that, I would not have my children. And my children are like everything to me. And I mean, something as bad as negative as kicking your child out over a stupid letter because of his wife. Um, it did lead me to finding my high school sweetheart. Granted, we did divorce, but I don't, there was a part in my life where I regretted that. But I grew and I realized I don't really regret anything. Like I just, everything in your life happens for a reason. Either a season teaches you or whatever. Um, but if that would not have happened, I probably, I don't know, I probably would have moved back to Maryland, to be honest, when I graduated high
Right.
school, because that's where I was headed. Like I knew I wanted to go back to mom. Moving back to Maryland would have set me back. I know it would have, because I would have hooked up with the same people. And I don't think that I would have
Right.
had a life. And I did. Like I had a life with Jan. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. But you know what? My children, I is the biggest blessing out of all of that. And I do thank Dad for that.
Yeah. I mean, and I did go back to Maryland and, same people. And here I am with the interlock on my car. But so starting to close up our conversation, and if you could hear, if Dad could hear us right now, what would you want to say to him?
Oh, that I forgive him.
It's good.
Like,
Mm. It,
like when
one
he
thing I want to share.
when he passed away in front of us at the hospital and I got that last I love you, I knew that he needed to have that closure because we were struggling
Yeah.
to mend our relationship and just to have that back. And like, did he pass away like knowing that I love him and that I forgave him? Like, did he know this, or did he die with still that regret and that hurt? And I just want him to know that I'm gonna ugly cry. Like just for I just forgive him and I thank him.
So the one thing I need to tell you now, and I don't know how you feel about this, but I know I hear God's voice. Some people think I'm a wackadoodle, but I know I do hear his voice. And right now I've heard it, I'm hearing in my spirit that Dad knew. Dad knew you forgave him. You know, when I called you that day and said you had to come and you got there so fast, Dad waited for you. He waited and he opened his eyes and he saw you and he heard you and he told you he loved you. So I know that he's forgiven, that he heard you, that he forgave whatever he needed to forgive. Because the word says that you can't enter the kingdom of heaven without unforgiveness in your heart. And I know where he is. So I know he heard that. And I know he heard that. Um, and I could just see it in his eyes. I can still see that. And I do thank God for bringing that back to remembrance, because that is so good. Because,
Not a tissue,
I
but
think that's the hardest thing. I know that's the hardest thing when people pass away. Like, did they hear me? Did they know? And I know that he knew. I know that he did. That's what I feel. That's what I
I
felt
think
in my
that's what I
spirit just
struggle.
now.
I think that's what I struggle with the most.
I know. But God wants you to know that he knew. He knew. Um, But that day, August 25th, 2008, that did change our family forever. That kind of changed our footsteps. That changed things of how we were seeing things, and I don't just want to remember the day Dad died. I want to remember the life he lived, and the part of that we weren't there. I still remember his voice. I still remember his laughter, his personality.
Oh,
He
he
has such a
always
big
smelled so
personality.
good. He always smelled so good.
He did. And he was so handsome,
And he had to shower.
so handsome.
He had to shower whenever
Oh my,
I had the worst tear in my ligaments at cheerleading at high school. And I'm rolling around on the
oh
floor.
my gosh.
And he comes walking in, and he had to, like, I called, but he had to go shower before he came and got me to take me to the hospital. Meanwhile, my leg was like a big.
Yeah, he had to do the same thing for me. Um, I somehow I tripped or missed a step on the bus when I think it was a sophomore or junior in high school. And I was on the ground and they were calling him. He said, okay, I'll be there in a little bit. He came back. He said, I had to shower first. I was like, what are you doing? Like, seriously? Because it like took him forever. And then we went to the hospital. But I do. I remember his laughter. I remember his personality, the lessons, memories. And I know I have a little more than you had. And I'd love to share. I love when we talk about dad together because I know that there are some things that hopefully will come back up for you too. But you're so little,
Like a lot of stuff
when
was
he
taken
left.
with that, like even later, if you without saying.
Yeah. Um, the fact is that for a season, God gave us the privilege of calling him dad, you know? And not only that, I mean, love dad always. And, we've had multiple, mom had three husbands total, and the second one, whatever. But, we call Jock dad, but he's not dad, you know what I mean? But he is a close second. I can't take that from him, but I know we miss dad. We love him still today. He just lives in our heart. And after 18 years of just still being able to talk like it was yesterday,
Yeah.
still being able to laugh about the stupidest things,
But I'm afraid I'm gonna
the things.
like I'm gonna lose those memories. Like I'm so afraid after a while I'm gonna lose it.
Yeah. And that's why it's so important we share them with our family. And because dad, just he lives on in us. And there's things that I wish that were shared with me more about his dad and his mom, because I don't have those memories because granddad papa passed away when we were little. um but all these memories, and the fact that you know because the word says that God knew us before we were knitted in our mother's womb, so he made a choice to knit us in mom's wombs and with dad. And that was a choice that he gave to mom and dad to do their best with us. And I think they truly did. Looking back, I think they truly, truly, truly did. But we didn't come with instruction manuals either. That's what I tell my kids. They don't come with them. We don't. We're not Cabbage Patch Kids.
You're just navigating and trying to navigate life and do the best that we can. And everyone makes mistakes. Like there is no such thing as perfection. Like everyone is always learning. You should be learning every
There
day.
isn't.
You should be learning a lesson
Every
every
day.
in your life. And if you're not,
Yeah.
find a lesson because there is a lesson in there.
Mhm. There's always a lesson, right? And in this, it's grief and hope, love, forgiveness, all those things, because we're family and all those things happen to us. And, you know, I'm grateful that, no offense, but I feel like this might be like, it's like our own little therapy session. But it's so good.
Franklin gets a break
It's so
tonight.
good. And, huh?
Franklin gets a break tonight. He's my therapist. I'll say, okay, Franklin, that's
Uh,
ChatGPT. Switch to therapist for a minute.
hey, I haven't done that yet. I may do it.
Hey, I'm telling
Um,
you, I have a whole sheet, whole chat.
I'm a little concerned, but that'll be another episode. Um, and for us as believers, I feel like um when we grieve, we also have hope. There's hope there for us. And until the day God calls us home to, we'll continue to love, live, forgive, making memories, and just just thanking God every day that he gives us because we learned. Yeah.
We 100% did. And I feel like, because obviously your childhood can mold you either way, like depending on, but I always say when you're in your like 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, it's no longer your childhood's problem anymore. It is you. Like you know right from wrong. You, even though you may have brought up
Mhm.
differently, you can see other people, you can see the world. Like, and you know right from wrong. There's no excuse. for it, in my opinion.
Right.
Like it's not your childhood
Yeah.
anymore. It's you as a person. Take ownership,
Right.
take accountability.
Exactly.
You're an adult.
Stop blaming others.
Yeah.
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 Stop
So,
blaming other people
yeah,
because it's your turn now.
right.
Yeah, I
Right.
agree with you 100%. Um, so we're going to wrap it up. And so just to say, Dad, 18 years later, you're still loved. Yes. And we never. We just love him so much.
I do too. I truly, truly wish Brent had an opportunity to meet him. Not only that, but my kids, because he would have loved, I mean, my kids did meet him, but I wish now
But they were so young.
he was still here. But yeah, gosh, he would be so proud.
Yeah,
All right,
I
I'm
agree.
gonna cry.
Yeah, no. Well, our
Bring the
therapy
camera
session
back.
is over.
Camera back.
But I've enjoyed, talking about him on his birthday. And tomorrow, of course, is the day he passed away 18 years ago. Because he had to stay for the birthday.
He was 61. And this is why I said I'm 53. I am knocking on 60. I'm knocking on 70.
We're
But
not
you know what? It
speaking
don't
like we're
matter.
any of us.
It doesn't matter because you know why? I'm living my life. Like I am not living in
Right.
fear anymore. I'm not living like
That's right, amen.
care what other people think. I'm just doing me. I have my
Yep,
family. That's all that matters to me.
it is. Me too. Beautiful.
Peace out. Love ya.
Love you.